Welcome to the Car Queens podcast, powered by
Drive Crescent,
where women are in the driver's seat and run the show. Welcome back to the podcast. We are here in the Drive Crescent studio this morning, and I have a king in the driver's seat instead of a queen. How about that? Tyler Jones, my friend.
In the presence of queens.
Oh, thank you, Tyler. So I wanted to bring Tyler in because he's such a motivational person. I always see your posts, and I'm like, God, he's doing it. He's doing the things. I got to start by saying he is a girl dad.
Extraordinaire. Yeah.
Extraordinary.
Lots of practice.
And it keeps going. So he's got a grown daughter who's a teacher.
Correct.
So you're proud of her. And 3 little ones at home.
3 little girls, yep.
And you're married to Maggie. She's pregnant, and she's going to be due in March.
Correct.
Woo,
Yep.
with baby number 3. So you have 4 girls.
4 girls, baby number 3. That's right.
Wow. You're outnumbered, man.
I got my dog, Steve.
Oh, Steve. You and Steve.
Yeah, so me and Steve have to stick together.
Do you have to go to the doghouse sometime with Steve?
Normally, Steve gets himself in the doghouse because he's an excellent counter surfer. So he normally does it on his own. I just stay out of it.
That's cool. Well, I met Tyler many years ago. He is the founder and owner who has since passed the torch to another business owner of CSRA Spray Wash.
That's right.
That's where our relationship started. We wanted really cool lights on our barn for wedding season, and it started from there, and our whole farm is lit up thanks to you.
That's right.
And you also have a business called Light It Up.
Correct.
And they kind of work hand in hand.
Correct.
So I'm like, why am I calling a spray wash guy to come do my lights? Tell me how that's connected. How did that start?
Oh, I started our house washing business, CSRA Spray Wash. So we did everything exterior cleaning in the spring of 2019. And my brother-in-law lived down in Charleston and told me, said, hey, there's a lot of Christmas light decorating companies that are popping up and they're doing well. And he said, you should try it. And we were kind of working together on it at first. And I said, man, nobody's going to be interested in Christmas lights. Nobody, but whatever, I'll give it a shot. So it works really well for light installation, house washing being seasonal. You know, we wash houses all year, but you know, when it's cold, obviously business slows down. Like, okay, we'll give it a shot. And that first year we started advertising. I think year 1, we decorated 15 houses, and I think I turned away probably 40. People just were crazy about this idea of like, we install the lights, we take them down, we store them. It's a white glove service. We do everything. Yeah. So then
we're the weirdos that keep ours up year round because of our wedding business.
That's right. Because of the wedding. I got a couple of folks that do it, but you were the first. Definitely.
That's crazy. And we love it.
Yep.
We just turned ours off. I mean, we just love driving up the long driveway up to the house and seeing those lights. It just gives you a smile on your face.
Well, your home and barn is beautiful, and it's the perfect setting for it.
Thank you.
It is pretty to pull up and see.
But a normal customer, you would take them down after the season and store them for them, and then put them back. So they have their own special lights that are already fitted for their house.
Correct. Everything's tailored for your property. We take them down, we package them, store them away in the warehouse for the year. So yeah, as a matter of fact, the guys are hopefully wrapping up this week, getting everybody's lights taken down.
For Christmas, you add wreaths to our barn and our house, and you light up our trees and our little playhouse in the back for Presley, Jane. It just gives a whole different feel for the season, and you don't have to do it yourself.
This year we decorated right at 290 homes.
Wow.
290 homes and businesses.
My gosh.
It's like I said, the first year was 15, and then the next year I was like, okay, I'm prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And we decorated like 50 houses, but I probably turned away 100 people.
That's crazy.
It wasn't until year 3, year 4 that we really, kind of got a handle on things of what kind of inventory you need, what kind of, how many laborers and installers we're going to need.
Right. It's a science, I'm sure.
Yep. Kind of got our marketing fine-tuned.
Tell whose homes you did. I could really tell. There was just a difference. It really was. Because I'm not even going to go down the road what we tried to do to begin with. It was a mess. So you've sold that business, but you still have your hands in it. I'm sure it's a lot to undertake.
So that was 2019, 2021. Well, let me back up. Also in 2019, we started our nonprofit, Inside Out Ministries, which we'll probably get to that in a little while.
Absolutely.
So running the house washing business, running the Christmas light business, get married, start having babies. And then 2021, we opened up our gutter company, Gutter Specialty Services. And so for several years, ran the 3 businesses. I also, I like to invest in real estate. So flipping houses, rental houses, selling houses, stuff like that. I don't do well sitting down, and I don't take naps. You know, if I do, I feel
You
terrible.
might never he comes.
So yeah, so things just continued to progress and grow, and I just kind of got to the point. Again, we'll get to it. Some stuff started happening with the ministry.
I saw some of your videos on, is it New Vision Home and Design, your company?
Yep.
You were going in and like getting repos and flipping them. Some of the stuff you had to deal with cleaning out those homes.
Oh yeah,
That's no joke.
it's like
We
off
flipped
of
a house. I say we flipped a house. We bought a repo in Charleston for our son when he was graduating Charleston Southern. Actually, when he went to Charleston Southern, his second year. And we thought it'd be so easy. Oh my God. That's crazy business right there.
It is.
You never know what you're going to find.
I have found some strange things. I have found some strange people in the houses. Yeah, the house I did just a couple years ago. The first time I went to start working on it, there was 3 people living there. I was like,
wow.
Hey guys, a new owner.
Jeez.
And they were nice. They were like, okay. They grabbed
We'll
their
move
stuff.
on.
Yeah, we got out of there. So, but yeah, got to the point
heartbreaking.
where I just couldn't run this business, be a good husband, be a good dad. And
does
like I
Maggie
said,
work with you?
No,
Okay.
she's a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
She works in cardiology.
Wow.
Over at Wellstar. She runs a heart failure clinic. So she's the normal one.
She keeps you well insured.
She's the stable one. Exactly.
So what gave you that entrepreneurial heart? Because I know you either have it or you don't. Because it's not like you haven't settled on a career. You are just an entrepreneur.
I never had any plans of being an entrepreneur. Like I was in my 30s before I caught the bug. Just I didn't know, and I was.
Well, you're such a people person.
I've always enjoyed people. I've been a relational guy. I've always enjoyed relationships. I've always enjoyed speaking and just this kind of stuff, hanging out, and talking.
Well, your personality sold me on what you were selling. I mean, because it's not cheap to put those lights on your house, and you're buying a service that hopefully you'll continue to use. I don't think that's a one and done business, because once you get it, you're kind of hooked.
Right.
And you explained to me the advantages of working with you and what you had to offer, and it was really you that sold me on your service.
Well, we've kind of went down that road as we again sold one of the businesses, growing our businesses. That probably the same thing here at Crescent. I bet you got customers that buy vehicles here. They can go buy a vehicle somewhere else, but they buy vehicles here because of you.
Well, true. Yeah, you're right.
And that's really, really important to me. Selling part of our businesses was tough because there's people that I've been working for that, they're close friends now for quite some time. I have a lady here in Aiken. Every Christmas, she sends my wife a gift bag and gifts for my kids and everything. Like you, I think the first time you met us, Maggie was pregnant with.
She was.
She came out to help me with Christmas lights.
She did.
And when we started our business, I've got photos from the first year. I mean, it was me and her.
That's so cool.
Installing Christmas lights. And she was working full time, and she would come help in the evening. So, yeah, the relationship part of it, people know me, know my family, know the story of our family. Yep, from here.
You're right from Brandonville?
Yes.
So, and you service the CSRA and beyond. I do know that.
We're working on opening a gutter office for gutter special services in Columbia and Charleston right now. So that's hopefully the plans for 26, 27. But yeah, really that I-20 corridor from Lexington, Columbia area all the way back to, Appling, Lincolnton.
I bet
is our service area.
The road's running.
We do.
Always somebody to service, and
we got a big gas bill.
I bet. So, social media. How important is that with your businesses? So
when I started my business, I didn't have any money, and I'm figuring out how to market our business. So our first 2 years of washing houses, I didn't have social media at that time as well. Like I wasn't on social media, but talking with folks like, yeah, you gotta get on social media if you're gonna grow your business. I started a Facebook page, a personal one and a business one. And our first 2 years, we grew our business through word of mouth and social media. And I would put a little money behind like boosted posts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but it was just volume.
Yeah.
I was very consistent with it. I tried to have at least 5 or 6 posts a week, and we would do a variety of things. We would do funny videos, before and afters, what we're going on in our project, explaining some of our services, just a variety of things.
And that was before Reels were popular.
That's right. And then did that I managed the social media for probably 5 years. And that one was a really difficult one for me to let go, but it's time consuming.
Oh,
like
it
if you're
totally
going to do it, people think it's just, I'll throw a post up, it's not it's not as easy as that.
That's right.
Especially the consistency of it. So finally, our marketing company, so shout out to CWR Digital. They do a great job. They added a team that's all they do.
Yeah.
Is social media, and they took over. This year will be our let's see, Christmas season of 2024.
Okay.
They took over late that fall, and
it changes your business.
And they've done a fantastic job.
When Emily came aboard and took over our social media management, and we started the podcast, we have a whole different limb of business that we weren't reaching.
Our quarterly reports for 2025, end of 2025. So we do a ton on Google SEO, Google ad campaigns, Google local services. So we have a good blend, but right at 70% of our leads came from our social media platforms.
Wow.
Yep.
That's huge.
And the budget was more for Google. So I believe, I think that's the direction it's going. I think that SEO and Google Ad certainly has a place, and it's kind of comprehensive approach to it.
Right.
But
we have a problem with digital too, because you can't see it.
Yeah,
You
and
just
it's
pray
just
it
so
works.
hard to master it. Like,
Yeah.
you're always working on it. So social was, like, again, it was probably 30% of our budget, but 70% of our leads.
That's great.
So I'm pushing it hard in 2026.
And don't you love when somebody walks up to you and you get a referral, just word of mouth? That's the best. That is the best. You know you're doing something right out there.
Well, I got a big saying, nothing travels better than good word of mouth except bad word of mouth.
You're right about that.
So let somebody talk bad about you. They'll find out faster than the good stuff.
You got that right. How well do I know that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, how well do I know that? So you are, your church is Midland Valley Community Church.
Correct.
And that's a huge church. They have a huge outreach.
Yes. Our outreach ministry is, I'm going to brag on us. I think the best in the area.
You should.
We just got good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we express to our church family that there's a need, they're going to come through, man.
That's
it doesn't matter
incredible.
what it is.
And I love churches like that because it expands outside the four walls. Those doors open outward, not inward. They're not interested in being a hospital.
Yeah. Well, sometimes
Fixing within, they're wide open.
We as Christians will get caught up too much on trying to get saved people more saved, and it's not what the gospel calls for.
Nope.
I mean, Christ was extremely clear about what our mission is. So our mission statement is bringing Christ and people together, and not to over spiritualize things here, but Matthew 28 is the Great Commission.
That's right.
That's what he said.
Right.
He could have said anything. Jesus, last time the disciples are seeing him, Jesus could have told them anything. He could have said, honor thy mother and father, pay your tithes, don't kick the dog, whatever.
Yeah.
But what he
That's
said
what he
was
said.
very clear. Go tell people about me. Go make disciples. Tell people about all the wonderful things that you've seen me do.
Wow.
And so, that's when I think about that, like, okay, he could have said anything he wanted to, but this is what he said.
We better
It's
do
pretty
it.
important.
It's pretty clear.
Go tell people about Jesus.
Right. When Brian and I were raising our kids when they were younger, and of course, most of them are grown except for Presley Jane. We're still, she's still in church with us, and our kids do join us in church sometimes. You kind of lose sight of that because you're so involved with their little activities and trying to get them in church activities and, all the things that go on with churches like that with kids. But the older we've gotten, that's been a hard knock on our hearts to go back to that and remember that we're supposed to save souls and we're supposed to tell people about Jesus. It's simple, yet it's the hardest thing for adults to do, it seems like. Brian was talking in church. We were in Tennessee seeing our granddaughter. She just turned 1. And we have a friend's church that we visit when we're there. And Brian got up. He said, I want to pray for the pastor and his family. And, we forget that it's as simple as inviting somebody to church. They'll probably go. If they're your friend or they're your family member, they may not.
Being intentional about an invite is a very
But inviting somebody to
powerful
church,
tool.
yeah. And that's not always where they find Jesus. I don't want to say, oh, you got to be in church every Sunday, because we're not. We travel and we do different things. But you're so right. Just being intentional about talking about Jesus, who he is, what he's done in your life. And that's the main thing I want to talk about today, because you've been so successful in business. You're a successful husband and father. Got 4 girls.
That's successful.
You gotta polish that crown, because being a girl dad's
You got
tough.
to ask Maggie on the right day if I'm successful. I think
You're doing something right.
I do a decent job.
But that comes from who you are inside. and what you want to bring forth to the world, not just your family. And you started Inside Out Ministries, which is mainly a prison ministry.
Correct.
And
Yep.
that
Started as a prison ministry.
started as a
Getting
ministry.
into
I've
some other
seen y'all are reaching out beyond that. But how did that start? How did your heart for that begin?
So a lot of people know. Some of our viewers may not know. So I got a checkered past. So I struggled with alcoholism and substance abuse. Got in a ton of trouble when I was a teenager and in my 20s and stuff. Ended up in prison, and God touched me in a powerful way while I was incarcerated and changed my life. I tried every way possible to change my life on my own, to do things. I didn't want to be the person that I was, but I couldn't figure out how to change. And it wasn't until Christ was a part of it that stuff started changing and my life changed. And God spoke to me very clearly that he wanted me to use my experiences to help others. So come home and end up starting my own business. Again, wasn't in the plan at all. My plan was to go into ministry full time. But as God
You kind of are.
yeah, well, that's the direction we're going.
There you go.
I didn't know that being an entrepreneur and being a business owner would be my greatest tool and resource to be able to help other guys. Because, I've got a lot of guys that have came from the ministry and work for us. It's one thing to go to church with somebody a couple times a week. When you spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week with them,
You really know them.
really get a chance to, to be
And they know the real you.
That's right. Yeah, we do we are doing life together. Oftentimes you spend more time with your work family than you do your own family.
We say that every podcast, don't we, Emily? We do. It's true.
So started the prison ministry, and what that looked like in the beginning was just I taught and I preached at the jail every week. We had all sorts of biblical-based classes, cognitive improvement skills, addiction science, just a really good variety of stuff that we offered to inmates here locally at the detention center. We focused on prisons, but we kind of landed on our local county jail.
Right.
Because those are the peoples that are coming back to our community. So, just teaching classes there week in, week out. And I always knew God had put it on my heart in 2013 that he wanted to open a men and a women's long-term residential home. And last year, 2025, I get a call, and it's from a local ministry. And they say, Tyler, we've got these homes. We're struggling. Our director retired, and we just kind of lost our way. Could you help us? And so we went to our board at Inside Out Ministries, and I said, hey, listen, they want our help. I think the time's right. We made a proposal to their board for Inside Out Ministries to take over full operations of the home, and they voted unanimously yes for us to take over. Okay. So January 1st, we just opened our men and women's home. We've already got one male student. Our women's home should be starting to take applications and students later this week, maybe next week. But yeah, as all that was happening, I had already kind of started exploring selling the house wash and Christmas light business. And it had been for sale probably for a year. And just to show you God's divine ordination. So the house, for a year now, the houses become available, and I get a phone call from a good friend who is now the owner of the businesses, all within about 24 hours.
You're kidding.
And it was like,
that's clarity.
God just waiting on everything to line up. And when it lined up, it was boom, boom, boom. And
thank God for your obedience, though, because a lot of people don't see that.
Right.
They'd be like, wait, no, I'm not ready. Okay, this is an open door for me.
I had already kind of set my heart on like, okay, look, man, my businesses are good. They're doing well. They provide for my family and I. They provide for our employees. We have great jobs for folks. And I was okay with continuing to run them. And, but when the ministry thing came, I was like, okay, now I kind of have a sense of urgency because I know I can't do all of these things and do them well.
That's right.
Something's going to suffer. Yeah. Then the next day I get the call from a buddy. He's like, I'm interested. What do you think? And I'm like, over the previous year, we had gotten to the closing table 3 times, ready to buy the business. Like everything worked out, and, just couldn't finalize certain pieces of the agreement.
Just wasn't right.
I settled this one over a 30-minute lunch at Longhorns. I sat down with my buddies. This was on a Friday, and we talked it out 30 minutes. Like, he's rushing out the door. I'm like, well, hey, listen, we got more to talk about. He's like, I got to go. I'm like, okay, well, just let's think about it for the weekend, and we'll talk. So I called him on Sunday night. I was like, hey, listen, I kind of got to do something. I wanted to know, if you had talked about it over the weekend, where your head was at. And he was like, I thought we handled all that Friday.
I thought I owned it.
I was like, okay, all right. Say
Perfect people to own it because they did the same thing.
Well,
essentially.
That's where I started working. That's where I learned to wash houses.
I have tried to get appointments with them. They're always booked.
They are. They run a great business. They're
Sunshine.
great.
They're
Really,
great.
Yep. Sunshine. Shout out to Sunshine Softball.
That's right. They're
now CSRA Spray Wash and Lighting.
up.
But we're, it's, although it was a formal transaction, it's almost like a merger.
You're still
my
involved.
Customers that need house washing estimates, like I'll go run, take a look at the jobs. I'll give them a call, say, hey, Jamie needs her house washed. Take good care of her. She's a great customer. And it's just really more support on the admin and operation side. And, they're wanting to venture into gutters. So,
and the last thing you want to do is sell your name and business to someone that's not going to take care of it.
Right.
It wasn't, like you said, just transactional. These people are going to nurture it and grow it.
I've known these guys since 1995. And that was another part about selling the business, was that I learned real quickly, selling a business is way more about the relationship with whoever the buyer and seller is versus any part of money of it. Because it doesn't matter how it's structured. There's got to be a trust piece there.
Definitely.
It's just going to have to be. And man, that was such a blessing because
it's such a weight off your shoulders.
And they're such good people.
They're great people.
That like if they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it no matter what. So it was just like, it was a stress-free transaction.
Their name stands strong in this area. It really does.
Well, you don't stay in business for, almost 30 years without, you got that being good to your customers. So
that's tough. So back to the ministry. So God opened those doors for you. And I see that clear as a bell. I didn't know that was the timeline. So I'm glad I found that out. But, Aiken County supports you guys. I know they love having y'all in there because that's got to make their job easier. I say easier. I know it's a whole different ball game, but what are some of the things that you do when you're in there teaching these guys, not only about the word, but about life?
Okay. Great question. So our programs are 1 year to 18-month programs. Okay. We're going to have 20 beds for men and women students, 2 separate homes. And our program is number one, faith-based, but number two, it's more than that. Alcoholism and substance abuse disorder is multifaceted, and you got to have a multifaceted approach. So we start with spiritual healing. I believe that's where it begins. But more than that, again, cognitive improvement skills. Okay. My life verse is out of Romans 12. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of my mind. Transform, change. I got to get a new mind. So cognitive, that's mind. So we focus on cognitive improvement skills, and that looks like character building, improved decision-making. We also include, I wanted you to learn a lot about addiction science, like what is chemically and biologically going on in your brain and body as to why me, as an alcoholic or drug addict, why do I function differently than somebody that's not? And there's definitely a genetic and scientific piece to that. So we want to learn about that.
You don't hear about that in recovery, or I don't. Yeah. The people that I've spoken to, that they don't have that piece of the puzzle. Right.
Well, when I learn how things work.
Why, when you find out why you do something, that's a game changer.
It gives me a sense of awareness. Like I know what's going on now. Like, that's why I'm making this poor decision. If you talk about somebody having a cold, they got a runny nose, a cough, there's physical, tangible symptoms.
Sure.
Cancer, like, okay, you're going through chemo, radiation, you got a tumor, whatever. Like there's things that I can see. But when you tell somebody that an illness or a disease materializes through poor decision-making, irrational thinking, crazy justification, you're like, well, it's not as easy for you to grasp, but that's what happens. I mean, most drug addicts and alcoholics make really bad decisions. Right. And they continue to make them until you get to the root cause of it. And then learning, again, like I said, about how to improve cognitively, social skills, work skills, addiction science. So we tackle all those areas, the spiritual, the physical, the social, the psychological. We're blessed to have Dr. Jay Earls is the head of the Hope Community Counseling Center. That's one of our outreach ministries at Midland Valley Nazarene. So we have a professional counseling staff that helps with, again, the clinical side of working with students. So students come in after 30 days, they're required to go to work. You pay your own way. That's a big deal as well. Like
skin in the game.
That's right. And there's something, especially speaking from the man side of thing, when you know you're paying your own way, there's a confidence thing that's built there. I can make it. Sure. I can do this. Right. I'm providing. So that's kind of what the program looks like. There's 3 phases within the 18-month program. Phase 1 is submission. I got to quit. I got to know that I can only do this with the help of God. Forgiveness. I got to learn to seek forgiveness for all these bridges that I've burnt, to forgive others, to get God's forgiveness. And then phase 3 is discipleship. So I want to learn, like what we just talked about, Matthew 28. How do I help others? Because that's how, I do all this. And man, I get so blessed from getting to help other men and women.
I bet you do.
It's selfishly, it's probably more for me than it is for anything I can do for them.
Well, no, you see your life you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying, this could be me. This could be me. That could be this dude. I was this guy and somebody helped me. And now you're wanting to give back. That's huge. Somebody helped you. Somebody had their hand out for you.
People believed in me and gave me another chance. And I just want to help those that, and again, I get it. There's a stigma. I understand. You're going to hear people say, oh, they don't want help. They don't want to live like that. And in some instances, you're right, that there's folks that they're just not interested in changing yet. And that's fine. We've got limited resources.
But you've been there. Now, if somebody with a doctorate goes in there, or this PhD and all of his fancy words goes in there and says, I'm going to help you, sometimes they do refuse that help because they don't know what you're going through. You know what these people have been through.
I teach and preach a lot, and I am way, way more comfortable teaching inside of a correction center than I am on Sunday morning. I really am. So folks come when we have our big events and we've got a room full, a couple hundred inmates in there. And I'm cool. I'm at home. These are my buddies, versus on Sunday mornings, which, that's my church family and stuff. It's just, I can relate in here,
But it's rewarding for you to explain to the church what's going on the inside, because a lot of people are afraid of that, what that looks like, or that kind of ministry, because it's foreign to them. Or maybe it's not foreign to them. It's too close to home and it's too scary to do. I've got addicts in my family and it's a nightmare because you can't fix them. You can help, you could try, but someone that's been there, done that, has the degree, and you're on your own. They see you as a successful parent, a husband, a business owner, and they strive, they want to be that too. But it's a matter of getting out of that pit.
When they show the willingness, we want to have the tools available. Right. That's it. If you're not ready, then hey, I get it. Maybe you need to go do a little more research. And that's because what I was getting to a moment ago is that our resources are limited and we don't have time to waste it on people that are going to waste our time. But if you want another chance, if you really want to experience a different life, then, and it's not some new, I'm not a smart guy. It's not like some new creative stuff that I came up with. Right. It's things that were taught to me. I applied them in my life. And they work. We're not reinventing the wheel here. Yeah, it's just hey, all you got to do is follow these instructions. It's simple but difficult. It's a very easy concept, just difficult to follow through because of we're just breaking some ingrained old habits. A lot of these folks. I come from a good family. My mom and dad, 2-parent household. Both my siblings are very successful. I wasn't raised that way. Right. And so any sort of that I may experience, when I see a guy that's mama was a prostitute and a crack addict, daddy was never in their life, he was homeless, lived in cars, literally walked out of a jail or a prison with the clothes on his back, and to see him be successful, I'm like, wow, that's way more impressive than anything that I've ever accomplished.
There you go.
And I just get to be a little part of that, which is,
that's incredible.
It's awesome.
Addiction does not discriminate, does it?
It does not.
It does not discriminate.
White, black, green, yellow, old, young, rich, poor, it don't matter.
It does not matter. Yeah. Wow. I've got a friend who's a recovering addict, and she's educating people, and she's talking in churches, and she said something that I will never forget. I'm like, oh yeah, well, when you hit your rock bottom. She was like, let me stop you there. She said, because I liked rock bottom. I liked where I was. She said, if I saw someone ODing, I want to know what they took because I wanted it. She said, that was me. And to see her now, it's amazing to see where people can come when they want to change.
That's right.
And she said, it didn't happen the first time. She said, I relapsed. I went back in the hotels. I was popping pills and taking meth and everything else you could imagine, losing my children, getting them back. And I can't imagine as a parent how hard that is. But we've got kids on the outside that are suffering because of the choices their parents are making. So if you can get it right and move on, you can rebuild a family. Those kids can see how strong you are. And that was huge for her. She said, my kids get to see that I'm a success. Right. They didn't go to my funeral. They didn't have to get that coroner call or that police call. So she's doing things too. And I'm so proud of her. But when she said that about rock bottom, I said, everybody's rock bottom's different. Once you hit rock bottom, you turn around. She said, oh no, I liked it.
Yeah.
So to hear
And
those
sometimes you think you're at rock bottom and you're really not. Yeah. I got a little lower I can go. My deal was that, like I said, I came from a good family, and there would be months where I haven't spoken to my family, but I knew in my heart of hearts, I know that, like, if it really hits the fan, if I call my dad and say, hey, Dad, listen, I'm in a bind, he's coming.
That's great.
He's coming. And
so many people don't have that.
He didn't know that was enabling me at the time. Like, he's just doing it because he's my dad and he loves me. And a lot of people say, as a parent, I'll do anything for my child. My parents have shown me they'll do anything for their child, and they didn't know. They just loved me and were doing the best they could. I believe, whether subconsciously or subconsciously, that created a plan B for me. I had a parachute in my pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't till that was no longer an option in my life. People change through inspiration or desperation. That's what stimulates change in your life, inspiration or desperation. And desperation is normally more effective. And so, I was desperate.
I imagine.
I didn't have, now the desperation created inspiration because I got to know more about God and other people, but you said that some people think they're at the bottom, they got a little lower to go, or some people, they're in that bottom and they think everything's cool. So
just wallowing in it. Yeah. And you said something earlier that I've often said as well. We look for answers in so many other things, whether it's our work, our kids, our spouses, drink, whatever we're looking for. And then we always have Jesus down at the bottom. Well, I've tried everything else. I might as well, why isn't he the first thing we go to? We're just not, and even as Christians, like you said, we're just comfortable. We're saved. We're all right. But when we really need something, we always turn to something else. It's just crazy.
My pastor preached a sermon series. It's been a year or two ago, and it was a 4 or 6 week series. It was on the meaning of life. And here's what I've experienced. He told a story about John D. Rockefeller, oil tycoon, richest man in the world, modern day, like Elon Musk or Bill Gates or something, richest man in the world in the 20s or 30s. He was in an interview, and the interviewer asked, said, Mr. Rockefeller, you're the richest man in the world. You can have anything you want at a moment's notice. How much money is enough? And his answer was, just one more dollar. Just one more dollar. And so we seek fulfillment and listen, I'm guilty of it. So I'm telling this to Tyler and checking myself just as much as anybody else that may hear this. We seek fulfillment through building businesses, finances, relationship, men, women, our kids, watching them play sports, toys, all these sorts of things. And there's never a point of attainment. You just keep going and going. The only place that I have ever, and I believe that anybody else, you can ever find complete fulfillment is spiritually. It's just
joy
through a relationship with God. Like, you're full, like you're finally full. Any of those other ones, the cup never gets full. The cup never. What's the next goal?
Yep.
I've experienced a lot of business successes and failures, and sometimes we'll experience a great success, and man, we don't even celebrate it for a day until we're on to the next one. And I'm like, so that was really powerful hearing that to me, and it's something that I have to remind myself of frequently.
Wow. And teach your kids.
That's right.
So you hope that they go down the same path.
There's nothing wrong with working hard. In fact, we're instructed to work hard and to try our best.
Definitely.
And to make God proud and to put our name on things. And I get addicted to working, man. Like, I love cutting grass. That's my hobby, and I'll get home and I'll measure and manicure and look, and I'm looking at my yard and all the time. Then I got to sit back and think, like, leave the grass alone. Go play.
Growing back to
Go play with the kids. Go inside. Spend some time with your wife.
That's right.
Take the babies out. Like, they don't care nothing about this grass. They just
though. I mean, it's a hard balance.
It is. And again,
I get it.
I don't. This is not meant to be preachy. These are reminders to Tyler.
That's why we do this. We want to learn from everybody.
Yeah, about all the screw ups I have.
So cool. Well, I saw where you were speaking in church, and you said in your post, and I just stopped in my tracks when I saw it. Hope is alive, and hope really is alive. And for a lot of people, hope is hard to attain because of the position that they're in, normally because of what they did to themselves. But it's just so good to hear people's stories that you're trying to give back and you're trying to help those people, because sometimes all they need is a small hand, not even a handout, just a compliment, just something to make them feel good about themselves, some encouragement. It goes a long way.
We had a guy, he's our first male student, our first student. don't really have a mom or dad to speak of in his life. Our program director, so he came straight from prison to Inside Out Ministries. And she said, I wonder when's the last time he's had a real hug, and just gave him a big hug, and just knowing that you're loved and that somebody's thinking about you.
That's right. That goes a long way.
Yeah. This can be a lonely world, and you need people
holds you
in your
accountable.
corner. Yeah.
You know that person's praying for you and helping you. You don't want to let them down.
That's right.
So your accountability is raised immediately. You're already getting, and I wonder about that all the time. People that don't have a family, you get out of jail, where are you going? What are you doing? It's so hard to get a job. It's so hard to, just get the basic necessities that we need as humans, shelter, food.
The accountability thing, something we've experienced both in ministry and at work, is treat people the way you want them to behave. Mm-hmm. So I heard a guy named Craig Groeschel, he's a pastor and he has a leadership podcast, talked about how somebody asked him a question of how they do such a good job of getting first-time guests into active members. He said, man, we'll have them be a first-time guest, and the next week they're running the coffee bar.
Yeah.
And so
let me help.
Yeah. So now, people are dependent on you. They're expecting you to be there. You got some ownership. You bought into it. With my employees, just this past Friday, we had a warehouse day. So with our gutter materials, we have a large warehouse where we keep all our stuff, and it just over time it'll get disorganized, and we have to take a day and get everything back the way it should be. And one of my guys, he's doing great. He's been with us about 3 or 4 months. Humble, hardworking, great employee, really, really good team member. I'm big on character over talent, and he's a character guy, and I'll take a character guy any day of the week.
Yeah.
And I was talking with his boss. I said, hey, listen, we need to give him some more assignments. I want him bought in. I want him to have ownership. So he's now warehouse manager as well. So besides being one of our installers, it's his responsibility every week to come in, and the way that this looks right now, this is the way I want it to look every week.
That's great.
And again, treat them like you want them to be, like you want them to behave. And I believe that works. Give them the assignments and tell them, hey, sometimes you've got a B- or a B+ employee that's an A waiting. You just got to give them the assignment, and they'll turn into an A. And so that
responsibility brings pride in his life. That's great.
Man, Tyler's counting on me.
That's great.
And the assignment they gave me is an important assignment. It really leans towards our efficiency and productivity, and crews getting in and out in the morning times. Being able to load up my materials and let's get out of here.
Yeah,
So
you know where everything's at. It's organized.
Treat people the way you want them to behave. Give them that accountability, assignments. Let them be a part of, bought in, and I believe you build a bigger team that way.
Great. That's good stuff. Great advice. Thank you.
I got little nuggets, man.
You got nuggets. Okay. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to pivot here.
All right.
What was your first vehicle?
Chevrolet step-side pickup truck, 4-wheel drive, black with a wood bottom bed, 33-inch tires. Yeah.
I want to put that in our old Chevy at the farm.
And I flipped it on Christmas Eve.
Dang, Tyler. Don't you wish you still had it today?
Oh, and it would be a great truck, and it would be worth a lot of money. Those 70 and 80 model pickup trucks it was an awesome truck.
Wow.
Big motor, loud exhaust, just to
have a system in it. You have a good radio, of course.
Some speakers in it.
Every Southern boy has to have a good radio in his car. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, it's been so fun chatting with you today.
Yeah, this has been awesome.
To have you back so you can give us updates.
I do. Yeah, we got to go we got to do a 1 hour or 2 hour one because I just keep rattling.
You can totally do that. Yeah. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're awesome. So I love learning this kind of stuff. This is great. Great stuff.
Well, so last little thing, another little nugget. This is what I've learned here lately is that I'm big on this character and leadership thing right now because like reading the Bible or your walk with the Lord, there's not, again, that point of attainment. Like you don't read the Bible 3 times. You're like, all right,
I'm done.
I got it. I've mastered it. It's the same thing with leadership. Being a leader of men and women is a powerful, powerful tool. And it's not something that you master. You're always getting better at it. And those are things that are intriguing and attractive to me, stuff that I can keep getting better and better. So that's why I like this kind of stuff. That's what we're going to talk about because
we didn't even get into mentorship. And that's huge for me and my staff and our team. And I know, obviously, just by hearing your story, it's big in your life.
Yes.
So let's come back and let's talk about mentorship.
I'll be ready whenever you want me.
Thank you, Tyler.
Right. Thanks for having me. All right.
Thanks for being with us today at the Car Queens podcast in the Drive Crescent studio. Be blessed. Have a great day.